Marketing. Am I right? Marketing and advertising. Holy cow. If there is an industry or a discipline that shifts or alters or changes or evolves more than marketing, I'd love to see it. I don't think it exists. I mean, it is a always evolving, deliberate process, marketing, and it's whoa, look at that echo. Woo. And now more than ever, having a digital marketing strategy is important. If you've been waiting on putting a digital marketing strategy together, you probably got blindsided by COVID and the pandemic shutdown and realized, oh my goodness. So I think out of necessity, a lot of people have evolved their digital marketing strategy or have developed one from the ground up in necessary response to, the way that we've handled the pandemic and the shutdown and whatnot. So, but you don't want to hear me talk about that. I brought in two experts, the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, our good friends, Erin and Kat from Focus Digital and adBidtise, two complete, absolute, consummate professionals and rock stars in advertising and marketing. You're going to want to hear exactly what they have to say. They're going to talk about the digital marketing landscape and marketing and advertising in general. And if you don't think this applies to you, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because if you're a business owner, everyone is a marketer. Everybody is a salesperson. Everybody has a message. Everybody is part of your messaging team. All right. If you are an employee, marketing and getting your personal brand developed and out there and getting your message out there is imperative for your career development. If you're an entrepreneur, same. You're dipping toes in both of the pools there. So this definitely applies to you. So you're going to want to stay put. You're going to want to stay tuned. We will go ahead and introduce our two guests right after this loveliness. That gets me pumped up every single time. Okay, so let's bring in our friends, Erin and Kat. How are both of you?
Hey. Good. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thanks for having me too.
Yeah, you bet. I'm so excited. You both, as I mentioned earlier, are complete rock stars and professionals. These are two folks that know precisely what they're doing in this landscape. So you're going to want to hear what they have to say. Before we dive into asking them some questions and get into the valuable content for all of you, I just want to let you know this is a live stream, if you didn't know. And so we're going to be fielding your questions in real time. So whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, doesn't matter. Throw your questions, your comments. If you like something you hear, feel free to throw out some adulations, maybe some praise, maybe some virtual high fives, whatever. But we're going to respond to it. We're going to answer your questions. I have received, our friends in the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce staff, we've received so many questions from our constituency and our members and our sponsors and our partners about digital marketing and advertising. So I know you got questions, and these are the people to ask. So let's start with Kat. Let's start with Kat. Why don't you tell us a bit about your business, what brought you to form it, and tell us about how your world has changed, maybe, or maybe stayed the same since COVID, since the pandemic landed.
Absolutely. Okay. adBidtise, we help businesses stand out and grow. We originally started out as a traditional ad agency and did a lot of traditional media, TV, radio, print, billboard, direct mail, things like that. And slowly became really good at digital media and really positioned myself in that area, in that space, and did a lot of social media marketing and Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, lead gen, and what have you. And then evolved into Social Buzz, which is an affordable product for social media. So how has COVID affected our business? It did. It majorly affected our business. And I'm not afraid to say it because I support small businesses. That's our bread and butter. And the small businesses that once the shutdown hit, they closed their doors. They were not open for business. And that was a lot of our business. So we lost a lot of business when that hit. And I, before COVID, I had 18 members on my team, and then we scaled back to 4. So we really had to do crunch time. We really had to buckle up. We had a lot on our plates, but to make up for the loss and not lose any more accounts. Like our whole focus was to keep the accounts that we had very happy and sustain them. And then thankfully, I always say thankfully, we had #SocialBuzz, and that really saved our ass. And that really helped. And, it's so funny. I learned a lot with COVID. I learned a lot. And I'm so very grateful of COVID, because I always say, if I look back on 2020, I look back and I say we were lean and mean, because we had to cut out stuff to reduce costs, but we had to be aggressive and do maybe some things that we didn't do before manually and things like that. So very lean and mean. And then I taught my clients to be lean and mean, because, in order to survive and sustain and keep your message out there and still be on a tight budget and still try to, run your business just like I was, I was a good example of it. And I taught my clients how to be lean and mean. And so coming out of it, we are very lucky. We got our first quarter is like exploded. And so we're doing very well. And I feel like 2021 I'm hoping to at least double, if not more, our business, because of the strategy and what we learned and cutting costs and what have you. The other thing too, COVID brought international clients to us. I love that.
Really?
I love that.
Yeah. Do you find that the demand shifted? And Erin, I do want to get to you to ask the same question, actually, but I want to ask Kat here. Did you find that the demand from your clients shifted? Did you find that post-COVID shutdown, people were like, please help us with Facebook, more so than more traditional forms of marketing and advertising?
Yeah, I think that's why SocialBuzz took off so well, because people knew they had to be on a digital platform to network and to drive business to their business. They saw the need that if they didn't have a digital presence, website, social media, any of those things, that 2020 made them have a rude awakening, just like I had a rude awakening, that, hey, you need a digital footprint, you need a digital presence, you need to be able to be out there to captivate those people that might just do business that way forever and ever and ever,
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and I do want to ask you about, you mentioned social.
Buzz.
Yes, I do want to ask you more about that, but I'm gonna transition to Erin really quickly. Erin, kind of the same first question. So what brought you to launch I'm sorry, not Go Focus. That's the website. Focus Digital at gofocusdigital.com. What got you to launch that? And what does your world look like right now?
Yeah. So the reason why I launched Focus Digital was, I worked for the chamber. And so talking with a lot of the members, a lot of them didn't have either a website or one that they didn't really spend any time on. They weren't on social media and so forth. And so meeting all these members, there definitely was that drive, especially when COVID hit, to be like, I want to help our members and help small businesses and, work with them to get online, to have that presence online. And so that's why I created Focus Digital. So you focus on your business and I focus on your digital marketing. And, during the pandemic, it definitely showed that if you weren't online, it was a harsh transition when the shutdown hit. And, you're already trying to figure out, if you have staff, what are you going to do with them and all the HR stuff and COVID-19 precautions and so forth. And then now you have to focus on trying to, fix up your online presence and your website and getting on social. And it's overwhelming. And so, that's why I was like, you know what? I'm launching during a global pandemic and I'm here to help you. So that was kind of my drive because why not, right?
Yeah, why not? And I think I wonder how many people you ran into. And I know you mentioned the outstanding work you did with the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce, which we appreciate. Really outstanding work. You mentioned that in chatting with our constituents or seeing their web presence, you noticed that pretty much everybody has a web presence. Somebody launches a business, they make a Facebook page. Somebody launches a business, they get a website and a LinkedIn company page. And how many of them have you chatted with that were like, well, I have a page, isn't that enough? And you have to like bridge how do you get them to understand that just having it isn't enough? And there's this whole additional world that is the world that the two of you live in. How often do you see that? And how awkward is that conversation?
It's with everybody. But that's why they're calling me, and because they know, and it's a, an exciting conversation. But when I'm talking with someone who actually has a storefront that you walk into and they're trying to figure out if they want to go online or why it's important to be online, I kind of tell them, you wouldn't let your store go dusty and have things just kind of jumbled around and not look good. You aesthetically want to make your store look really nice so it brings people in and they want to buy what you're selling. And so it's the same thing with online. If you're not updating your social, if you're not updating your website, if you're not actually engaging online, it's kind of like the same deal,
Absolutely. And Kat, do you find that too? I mean, it seems like it's so much easier to make a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post or create a page than it is to clean a storefront. Do you find that just getting your clients to understand that though it's easy to do it wrong, being deliberate about your presence online is the right way to do it, or at least a starting point?
Right. I mean, so the thing, and to also chime in on agreeing with what Erin was saying, is the thing with businesses is a lot of times I love the clients that are like, hey, take it. I don't know what I'm doing. I do not know what I do. Because at the end of the day, Adam, the person that thinks they know what they're doing and are posting but don't have a strategy in place, or they don't understand that you could be violating copyright infringement things, or there's so many things that could happen. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, social media is branding your voice and what you represent. So whether that's you or your business, if you screw that up, you kind of damage what you built, right? You're damaging what you built. So the one thing you don't want to do is branding your business on social media is no different than branding it on TV, on radio, on a billboard or direct mail. Just because it's social media and you feel like it is more acceptable does not mean it's okay to do some of these things that you feel like, oh, it's okay for me to do that, So, just the affirmation to what Erin was saying, you have to be very judicious on what your voice is and what your brand is. And I'll give you an example. I ran into a client the other day, and the guy just joined the company, says, can you just evaluate our social media and tell me what you think? And whoever was posting to it, post to it like they were a kid, like it was a family, and it was a manufacturing company. And I was like, well, the one thing I will tell you is I don't think they're posting good content to your future buyers. It looks like they're posting for their family,
Right.
And that's a big deal. That's a big deal,
I just wanted to say a quick good morning to Alex. Thank you for saying hi and good morning. We appreciate you watching and tuning in. We appreciate all of you watching and tuning in. If you have questions for Kat and or Erin or any of us about marketing, advertising, digital marketing and advertising, especially in a post-COVID world, we're going to talk about what the future looks like here in a minute. Please feel free to throw it in the comments section, no matter what platform you're watching on, and we are happy to field that. You mentioned you like the clients that say, just take it and run. So I'll let either of you answer this one. How often do you run into the client that thinks that they know about communications because they have Facebook? I've seen it, in dealing with communications people. There are so many folks that just make assumptions with no basis of experience about how communications and digital marketing works. How often do you run into that, and how frustrating is it?
You
all
want
the time.
Yeah, I was going to say. Uh,
But it's good because it challenges me to really make sure I'm breaking it down to them how important it is to have a strategy. And like Kat said earlier, branding. That's the first thing that I talk to about, with my clients is, what's your brand? Who are you? What do you do? What is your message? Like she said on Facebook, when she, was looking over someone's page, it didn't have a good voice to it. And so asking them these questions and they kind of step back and they're kind of like, well, I don't know. Who am I? What do I do? What is my message? And I actually don't really have a set logo. So, just kind of taking a step back and really making sure that that company finds their core and that they have solid branding from all platforms.
It's gotta be. Oh, go ahead, Kat.
I was going to say, I'm just going to chime in and add to that because I run into a lot of clients that give us like a set number of hashtags and say, I want to use these hashtags every time. I'm like, why?
Why?
Because we have tools. We invest in tools to research the hashtags. I'm not going to use hashtags that are not relevant to either that post or the topic or whatever we're doing. And they're just using some random hashtag. I see that a lot and it looks spammy. And to me, it's unprofessional. But it also, for me as someone in this field, I see it and I'm like, okay, they really don't know what they're doing or what the purpose of a hashtag is, So, things like that. And then, when you see that they over abuse and use branding and graphics, every post has a branded graphic of them. And that's overselling because now you're just like, selling me every time on a branded graphic that you're going to use over and over and over, So
I think I might be guilty of that. Now that you mention it, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Shoot, I'm overselling. Oh no.
Well, I mean, you can use, we've had clients that are like attorneys or financial investors or business coaches that have content that's branded for someone else. So like their blog is very branded because they have someone that writes those blogs, and things like that. When it's your product and it's your content, of course, you're going to brand yourself. But if you're using other, quotes and then you're branding yourself on a quote, you can do it graciously, just not take it over,
I'm an unapologetic self-quoter to the point where for my personal business endeavors, I actually have an infographic or a meme that I've been hovering on, maybe posting, and I'm doubting it, where the quote is like, never be afraid to quote yourself. And then I have my name afterwards, and it's in quote. Like my quote is never be afraid to quote.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. But you mentioned hashtags, and I think hashtags are a great example. Unless you work for LinkedIn and you're on the very inside, or you work for Facebook and you're on the very inside, or you work for Instagram and you're on the very inside, nobody really truly knows what is exactly in the algorithm, the data that decides what information gets put in front of who and when and how frequently. Nobody really knows. And so it really is very much a guess and test thing. And there's no substitute for experience. And you can tell when somebody doesn't know what they're doing because they'll continue to do the same things. They're going to use all 30 hashtags in Instagram, or they're just going to hashtag everything to death and do the same thing for every post with the same results, which may be one engagement, no engagements, two engagements, or whatever. So they don't have that critical, they have assumptions, but not a critical understanding that they need to be guessing and testing, because 30 hashtags probably isn't going to work,
right?
But it could work for your network. It's heavily dependent upon your audience and how your message resonates with said audience. You could have a hashtag receptive audience. You could have a audience that thinks they look gaudy and tacky, and the algorithm is the deciding factor that nobody knows, right?
That's
so
right.
It really comes to experience. And that's why somebody needs to reach out. If you are a business owner, if you are a small business owner, if you are looking at a social media strategy that is like, well, I'm posting to Facebook, why isn't it working? Or you're like, I don't even know what to do.
Right.
What advice do you have for that person aside from like reach out to Kat at adBidtise, reach out to Erin at Go Focus Digital? Like if someone is looking at digital marketing right now, and I'll ask Erin first, they're looking at that albatross and going like, dude, I can't. What advice do you have for them to take that leap, to make that transition?
Oh, I have a lot, so I'll try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
I think to take the leap, just think about digital marketing as being this flexible option that, you have more than one area to reach your clientele and more than one area of revenue. Invest in that time to really sit down and figure out, do I have a website that it works? First of all, like, I know that sounds silly, but we're still dealing with people with websites that are not mobile friendly. They're not responsive. And, obviously every year we see an increase with people shopping on their phones, and it's just going to keep growing. So you have a working website, and if not, start there, and when was the last time your website was updated? Start there, and so just take it step by step and try not to, I feel like if you just kind of start looking at things of like, I have this huge, large list and I'm never going to get it done, just one step at a time, And I say the biggest thing is your website first. I've definitely seen people put all this effort into a marketing promotion and this really great sale, and they promote it, and their website was not ready for it or anything, and it failed miserably. And so for me, my thing is invest in a good website. And look into making sure that you're flexible so you can have more than one area of revenue online and more than one area to reach your clientele online. So in short, that's what I would suggest.
Start with your website. And I think that's really good advice. And I want Kat to follow up on this here in a second. But when people ask me about social media stuff, and granted, I am a self-taught novice, I do not have the expertise that the two of you have, but the advice that I give, well, at least that I've found to be helpful for me is from my personal business endeavors, looking at, okay, well, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitch, I'm on YouTube, I'm on all these things, and trying to grow and build all of them simultaneously as a one-man operation is a recipe for overwhelm into inaction. And so what I tell people is like, focus on blank. Like for me, Q1 and Q2 of this year is YouTube. I'm a student of YouTube. I'm reading YouTube books. I'm coming up with the tackiest thumbnails I can possibly find to trick people into watching my content. I'm learning about tagging, not trick people, but I'm learning about tagging. I'm learning about keywording. I'm learning all this stuff. And I'm probably, even then, I'm still not going to figure it out. But I'm not even like Twitter. I'll figure that out some other time. So Kat, what advice do you have for someone that's looking at overwhelm at the prospect and may not even know if their digital marketing is optimized or if they're ready to rock on any of this?
Right. I think the first thing I would suggest to anybody, and I run into this all the time, is determine what your budget is, because you've got to set a budget for, and don't think that this is an expense, it's an investment. I always tell people that marketing, advertising, you're buying equity into the future. You are buying the brand that you're putting out there, that they will one day need you. Okay. If you don't put that equity into the future, then you're going to be scrambling every time that you need sales, every time you need business. I had somebody ask me one time, they're like, I'm booked out. Should I stop my marketing? I'm like, no.
Oh God, no.
I'm like, don't you want to grow? Like, do a wait list. If you get up to people, grow. Why would you stop? You know? And so it's about building equity, because you want to expand and grow, but know what your budget is, know what you have to play with, and understand that you're going to live with that. And as you grow that budget, because that budget is the investment into your future. So once someone established what their budget is, now they can prioritize, okay, what do I need to do? And, the most common thing I get all the time is I get people who approach me and they say, I want this many followers. I want this many likes, blah, 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 blah. And I want to use Instagram, because Instagram, you can do so many things. You can do reels and stories and posts and, blah, blah, blah. And I let people just ramble on and keep going. And then I look at them and I'm like, okay, how many sales have you gotten off Instagram?
Yeah, is that where your
they've
audience
been in
is?
business. Huh?
Yeah, is that where your audience is?
Right. So
Yeah.
I always ask, like, how many sales have you gotten off of that? And typically this person will have, and this is a true example too, by the way, typically this person will have social media on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Okay. This situation, they were B2B. They were a sales trainer, a coach, a business coach, sales trainer. And I'm like, so how many sales? I want to know how many sales, because don't invest in something that's not going to give you a return, because you're definitely going to come to me and say it's not working, and you're going to blame me, and it's not me, So I said, so you have to really discern what is the best avenue for you, because that investment is precious. It is precious. That's what the whole lean and mean. It is very precious. So put your money that in the place that's going to give you the return of what you want. Because if you just want a bunch of followers and a bunch of likes and stuff like that, great. Okay. Let's document that, because I don't want you coming back at me saying I'm not getting any leads.
I like that you said invest in your, in the future. Like, I really like that. That's good, because obviously we've seen from this pandemic that it's all going online. More things are shifting that way. And I really like that you said that, because that's the best way to sum it up. So.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Investment, not an expense.
Right.
Investment. Right. It's an investment. It's because you're raising awareness. You are not only just making sales. It's not a direct, like, you market this, you get a sale. Like, you have an opportunity to establish your brand on a global scale. I mean, my goodness. Which kind of leads me to.
Well, can I add to that really quick before you move on, Adam? So here's the other thing I find a lot, and I think people need to think about this when they're thinking of social media or digital marketing. They really lean toward what they're comfortable with and what is easy for them. So if they're an Instagrammer and they're always posting, that doesn't mean it's the best fit for your business.
Right.
Business. Okay. And so sometimes you have to get uncomfortable. And if you're uncomfortable with the social media that is the best fit for your business, then hire an expert. That's when you hire someone, because again, that money is so very valuable. And if you're putting that money in something you're comfortable with and it's not proving results, get out of it fast. Move out of it now.
That's a good thing about marketing, is that you can substantiate its effectiveness with data.
Yes, analytics. Yes,
absolutely. I mean, if you are paying a professional X amount of thousands of dollars to accomplish XYZ, you can largely use it. That's a cool thing about marketing. You can have data to analyze human behavior. It's like economics. Economics is not just math. It is a representation of human behavior, which makes it very, very interesting to me. Granted, I don't want to make it sound like I know a lot about economics, but marketing is cool because you can say, like, here's 4 sets of ads where I used the same picture, but changed around this verbiage, this verbiage, this verbiage, and this verbiage. And this one I use hashtags, and this one I didn't. And this one cost me $2 per click. This one cost me 50 cents per click. This one cost me 25 cents a click. And so if you are, that's great advice. If you are currently in contract with somebody, show me the data.
Right.
Show me the data. Verify. So I guess that's a good transition to, and Bill, thank you for your great comment. There's no one more reliable than Kat. You got a fan over there.
There you go.
And Jeff, I see your comment over there in LinkedIn too. He said for some reason I can't pop it up here, but it says he left Facebook approximately 3 months ago and spending more valuable time with LinkedIn. Not a social media guru by any means, but LinkedIn. But linked to Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Adam's giving me a new outlook and inspiration to keep learning. Hey, thank you, man. That's very kind. Very, very nice. Appreciate your comments. Everybody, as we're kind of rounding third and nearing the end, we're not quite at third base, but we're almost at third base, turning the corner towards home. Love the baseball references. We're getting close to baseball season, which is very exciting. I digress. please throw your questions out there. If you have questions for these two outstanding professionals and experts in this field, please throw the questions out there. We will answer them in real time. But I just want to ask, what does the future look like? Because I think the thing that we've established is it's always changing. It's always evolving. Nobody knows absolutely for certain what the concrete algorithmic method to success is. It's always changing. It's always guessing and testing and evolving and whatnot. And those that can predict what the future marketing looks like are the ones that end up being able to ride the wave and being successful. In your estimation, what is on the horizon in the world of marketing and advertising? And whoever wants to start with that.
I can start first, because I actually was asked this question the other day, and I loved it, because someone asked me, how did the pandemic hurt my business and blah, blah, blah. And from where I started my agency to where I'm at now, because we did have to pivot and change. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is someone in our industry, a trade leader, said in a conference I was at 2 years ago, they said, in 3 to 5 years, social media will be nothing but video. That if you're not prepared for video, then you're going to be left behind. So that's one thing. If you're not doing video, you need to start doing video. Okay. Yep. And you can't be afraid of it, because you will be left behind. Mm-hmm. So, if I had to leave an afterthought with somebody that's watching, or they're thinking about their marketing for 2021 and 2022, 22, think about video. You have to start doing video, and you got to start being comfortable with it. And if you're not going to do it, then assign someone that is a leader in your team, or, a marketing person or whoever. Okay. The other thing that I would have to say is, because somebody did ask me, hey, Kat, are you ever going to sell traditional media again? Are you ever going to be, negotiate and buy for it? Absolutely. There are some businesses, if you're local, and you should be doing local media. I mean, it's just as powerful as social media. So if you're completely local, local media, the rates have come down. The pricing's aggressive. You could be on TV, just as affordably as you could do some digital marketing and what have you, and really build your brand. So at the end of the day, if you are doing something, if you're investing in your future in some type of marketing, because you should be and you have to be, it's a win-win-win. The person or the business that I would say, shame on you, is a person that's still hanging on those laurels of referral. Those are those people that say, oh, I get all my business from referrals. I'm sorry, the competition's gotten thick. It is thick now. Mm-hmm. No longer are we just like local. I'm going to refer, Tom over here. You're referring people that are across the sea, Mm-hmm. And so, and then I had a little taste of that. I love saying that.
International business leader.
Yeah. I have clients from the UK. Maybe that UK client says, because our dollar is cheaper for them, maybe they're like, we're going to hire Kat instead because it's cheaper than if I hired someone in the UK. I
hadn't thought of that.
And same thing in Australia. Oh yeah, I check out that dollar exchange rate. Australia, same thing. Canada, same thing. Singapore, all these places where people are reaching out to us because maybe it's a lot more affordable for them to hire an American team to help them and manage their social media than it is for them to buy, hire someone in their backyard. Same thing here. Mm-hmm. So you have to think about the competition always and always and always.
So hybrid networking approach, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. And if you're local, if you were ever going to spend money on a billboard, now's the time, or a local TV spot or something.
Oh my God.
Erin, do you, I'm sure you agree.
On all of it. Yeah. Way to take them
video the future. Do you have anything that you want to add? How do you start with video if you don't know where to start?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, to continue with Kat, I mean, she pretty much nailed it all. Like, it's great. But yeah, local, I mean, don't even, radio too. There's so many local radio stations, and they do interviews, and get on there and call them up, see what they can do for you, local newspapers and so forth. So there's so many ways locally that you can be involved, and they're struggling too. So help them, by working with them, and they will help you. But yeah, starting with video, I mean, that's definitely something that when I started my business, I was like, okay, if I'm going to tell clients to do videos, then I'm going to have to do the same thing and get behind camera. And that terrified me. So it was just kind of
doing great now. We're live, international, you know.
But just, you know, get behind camera and just do it. I mean, just start off with, you know, maybe doing, like, if you're in your field and you have a quick tip that you want to share, just, you know, 30 seconds, just do that and throw it on there, you know. Everybody thinks it has to be this big, like, spend thousands of dollars. And of course you want to have some professional videos done, but not every video needs to be this big, long thing that takes hours to create, you know? And I think just getting out there, and then that shows a person who you are. Okay, so that's the business owner, and look at them getting behind camera and sharing advice with us, and they kind of feel that connection, you know, through social media. And the more you do it, it does get easier. I will admit, now I'm just kind of like, okay, got to make a quick video, boom, done. You know, I'm not as critical.
So does it have to be perfect? Do you need to spend $2,000 on a recording rig, on a camera, on ring lights, on cool color change LED lighting? I'm just kidding. This is like,
well, I don't think they cost that much
$12, by the way.
But no, I mean, I went on Amazon and got a tripod and a light and everything, and that was like under $50 just to kind of give my videos a little bit extra, make it easier for myself, a little remote, so I wasn't sitting there pressing buttons on my phone. Better light. And, you know, nowadays they make, you know, there's things out there that just make doing videos a lot easier. So do it, just start, and get out there. And,
what about
definitely TikTok. So I haven't done that for my business personally, but, I know a lot of people love it. I do have, a client who does tie-dye, who sells all our stuff on TikTok, and like people love it. So
yeah, absolutely. Kat, you had something to say about TikTok?
Yes, I'm a big, I don't sit there and watch the videos. So here's what I would suggest. And this was just in the trades for TikTok, just for anybody who's watching, and entrepreneur business owners. I use TikTok to create videos for like my stories or things like that, because I can go on there. I can do a really quick clip because it will time me out, right? I'll do a 15-second or 60-second or whatever the two times are.
It's 50 and 60, yeah.
Okay. So I'll go in and do them, and then I can edit them in there, right? I can put the little emojis and put the little banners and things like that. And then I do my little tag on TikTok. I don't care if I have an audience on TikTok. I'm going to be honest. So if you follow me, I think I have 1,000 followers. I can do a live on TikTok, and I have. But that's not the point of me being on TikTok. I'm using TikTok to create videos that are professional and they're nice. Download them, and then I upload them to my Instagram or my Facebook stories, wherever. So,
or Instagram Reels too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the same Reels.
So there is a huge value to TikTok. So here's the other thing on TikTok. There are 3 business owners that use TikToks for Q&A. So there's a chiropractor, OBGYN, and a regular doctor. They have, between the 3 of them, I think each one of them have over 1 million followers. They're just doing Q&A on TikTok. That's it. Yep. They're not singing. They're not dancing. They're just doing Q&A, and they're getting a huge response. So you don't have to do the hokey cokey stuff on TikTok.
No,
you can do your own professional stuff and, you know, stand out, you know.
5 years ago, maybe the dancing thing. Erin was there when I signed up for TikTok just to give it a shot. I recorded a weird 8-second video that was a little funny of our employees from work. And overnight, it had 250,000 views, and I had several thousand followers. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And it was at that moment that I realized the viral potential, and that it wasn't just people dancing anymore. That's on there.
Yeah.
TikTok is brilliant for the reason that Kat said. You can easily and quickly create good-looking videos that not only go on TikTok, but automatically download that you can use for Instagram stories and Reels, Facebook stories, and in various other places. But also the viral potential there is incredible. And there are people that are interested in all sorts of weird things. Yeah, you mentioned the doctors that do the Q&As. TikTok gets smart. It understands what you watch, and after a month of scrolling through TikTok, it knows what you like and it gives you more of what you like. Dermatologists right now have a huge following. People talking about dermatology and zits and stuff are huge on TikTok right now. Construction workers, people that have very satisfying brick work or even interior design work are taking off, and everything in between, all these weird things. So if you have a niche, which you should have a niche, there's such an opportunity to lay out your beach blanket in the sand and claim your space there on that platform. And if you don't use LinkedIn, or if you don't use TikTok rather, you are missing out. And don't be that person that is just now signing up for Twitter for the first time and absolutely unable to get any traction whatsoever. That's me, by the way. That unable to get any traction whatsoever. Get in while it's early. Like TikTok, you got to do it. You got to do, like both Kat and Erin said, you have to do video, and short form video is easy. You don't have to break the bank. Man, I could talk to the two of you absolutely forever.
Well, before you end, you should talk about Clubhouse, because that's the new one, right?
Clubhouse. Yeah, I was going to mention, thank you for saying that. I was actually listening to something on Clubhouse where this kind of harkening back to what you were saying, this marketer spent close to $1 million on a TV spot, on an advertisement, creating this commercial that was super high processed. It had explosions and, stunt actors and, this really high quality thing that got like no leverage, very little visibility, and not a lot of ROI. And then a week later, an employee posted a handmade video from her iPhone that ended up going viral and leading to a lot of business. So don't think that you have to break the bank on expensive gear and high production quality. But yeah, why don't you tell us about Clubhouse, Kat? I think I've seen you on there.
Are you guys on there?
I am.
No? Okay. So it's interesting because I was asked to join from a peer, and I said, okay, I'll try it out. And they were like, this is really great, because what happens is in those little circles, they go around robin, right? Ask people, give input and what have you. I haven't adapted to it, just so you know, because it is noisy to me. It's a lot of people talking. It's noisy.
Same.
And so, it's going to take time for me. I'm more of a video girl or a podcast girl. I'm not in the room with a lot of chatter. It sounded like the Titanic sinking to me. But I do have a client that is like just addicted to it, and they are on it for hours. Yep. And I'm like, I got too much other stuff to do to sit here and pay attention to this conversation.
I hear you. I feel the same way about it. I mean, it is the hype fad thing right now. Everybody loves Clubhouse.
Right.
And I dove in and I liked it at first, and I do have like 7 invitations. So I'll give them to the highest bidder.
I love it.
It's an invite. For those of you that don't know, Clubhouse is an invite only.
Yep.
Audio only social platform where people talk about topics and they can invite speakers up and whatnot. And there's a lot of potential there, and you can tell because it's blowing up, and Twitter just came out with a copy of it, and LinkedIn has either been in the running to purchase it or create something of their own. But people have said that they've had incredible business opportunities through Clubhouse. Me, I just, I'll listen to it occasionally if I'm going for a run or something, and I'll get value or just get annoyed at people like using superfluous, over the top, self-important, pompous language, and then turn it off and go back to my music or whatever. But I mean, I'm on the fence, because part of me, I've heard things on there that have just been like super mind-blowing and informative, and other things where I'm just like, oh, shut up, dude.
Right.
So I'm on the fence. I need to give it more of a chance, but yeah. So Clubhouse, the verdict on Clubhouse, I'm on the fence.
It's like live talk radio, and you're part of it. You know what I mean? That's what it's like.
Well, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, it's invite only Clubhouses, and I'll take, I take cash, check, PayPal, whatever, you name it.
Love it.
Appreciate the two of you. I know, Kat, we were just talking about Clubhouse. Erin, do you have any closing thoughts? Any there's a ton of information out there, but any kind of closing thoughts, any value add that you want to throw out there for the folks that are watching that may have questions about digital marketing and digital marketing strategy?
Yeah, I think just in summary of everything that we've talked about, if you're just kind of leaving this conversation and going, okay, now when we hang up, what should I even do? I think just sit back.
Call Erin or Kat.
Right? First step.
Yeah.
But even just sit back and start asking yourself, okay, what am I doing in the digital marketing world? Like, what platforms am I on? What am I posting, and how often? What's the content, and how is it going? What's on my website? What was the last time I updated that? And what's the content? And just kind of start overlooking everything that you're doing. And from there, like Kat said, invest in your future and take it step by step and figure out where you want to go first to improve and move forward. A lot of things are changing, and, move with it. Being adaptable to change is being successful in your business. So
absolutely. Do a website, do a social media audit, see what your end goal is and where you're at now. And if you don't know how to bridge the gap, you reach out to Erin at gofocusdigital.com. You can see it scrolling across the bottom right there. Or Kat at adBidtise. Kat, do you have any closing thoughts you want to throw out there for anybody that might be watching?
I would say that if you haven't thought about your game plan for 2021, it's never too late. It's never too late. Start thinking about it and start creating a budget and start creating a strategy. These are things you can do on your own, or you can use resources or people's help, or, whatever the case may be. You guys always have workshops going on, right, Adam? Workshops that people can partake in. So don't be afraid to use resources. If your budget is limited, make sure you reach out to people that can help you. But put a budget. Make a budget. Even if you have a limited budget, make a budget and start now. Just start.
It's not an expense. It is an investment. Well, Kat from adBidtise, Erin from Focus Digital, the both of you, thank you so much for joining us. I'll ask both of you to just stay on the line really quick, but for everybody else that's watching, wow, that was a ton of really great information. So if you're watching live, maybe you missed something, you can always scroll back, but these videos live on in perpetuity on our YouTube channel. Just look for Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce in YouTube, and please click that subscribe button, or as the kids say, smash the subscribe button, beat up the subscribe button, take the subscribe button out back and just kick it around for a while, and then hit that little bell so you get notifications as well. Okay. Oh, Ben just said, hey, thanks for all the information. Ben, appreciate you, brother, man, for watching. I just had a good chat with Ben this morning. So thank you very much for watching on LinkedIn. But follow us on YouTube. We've got a lot of other great content. The other thing I wanted to throw out there and kind of hang it in the air, Kat had mentioned, if you don't have a 2021 strategy, it's not too late, but you need to get on it. If you don't have a 2022 strategy, it's not too late, but you need to get on it. But the thing I want all of you to think about is, do you have an engagement strategy to either employ and retain, or to market to Generation Z and younger? If you don't, you need to get on that. If you're still trying to figure out how to market to millennials, and Ben and I were talking about this today, Ben, who just wrote his comment on LinkedIn. Okay, that's too late. Millennials are 40. Okay, we're 40. All right. We're the largest group of employees, of working age folks. We're approaching our prime earning years. If you don't know how to engage us as employees, or market to us, or market to attain us as employees, you've missed the boat, and it's time to focus on Gen Z now, because they're coming. Okay. So we can talk about that and more issues that are pertinent to your business on future iterations of our office hours, or a podcast, or Facebook, or LinkedIn, all that stuff. Follow us. You can see across the bottom right now, I got linktree.com/WIVetsChamber. Check us out. Subscribe to all of our stuff, but I'm going to stop rambling and give you the saucy funkiness with this outgoing video. Have a great rest of your week.